For most of human history, cats owed us nothing. A wild cat is a perfect killing machine. Silent feet, night vision far sharper than yours, claws that unsheathe in a fraction of a second, and a bite engineered to sever a spine in a single motion. If you were a small animal living 10,000 years ago, a cat was the last thing you ever saw. And yet, somehow, this solitary desert predator ended up asleep on your pillow. There are more than 600 million cats living in human homes today. They knock cups off tables, ignore us when we call, demand food at 4 in the morning, and stare at empty walls like they can see something we can't. But here is the strange part. We never tamed them. No human tribe sat down and decided to turn a vicious little hunter into a house pet. Cats were never domesticated the way dogs and cows and horses were. Cats domesticated themselves, and they did it for one reason: to rob us. To understand how, you have to go back to the moment our species stopped wandering. Around 10,000 years ago, in the Fertile Crescent, humans began to farm. For the first time, people stayed in one place and grew more food than they could eat at once. So we did something we had never done before. We stored grain, huge piles of wheat and barley sitting in one location season after season. And that small change rewrote the natural world. Grain attracts mice. Mice attract more mice. Within a few generations, the first villages were overrun with rodents eating the very food that kept people alive. And out in the surrounding desert lived a small, sandy wildcat called Felis sylvestris libica. To that wildcat, a human village was not a threat. It was a buffet. Endless rodents gathered in one place, easy to catch, available all year round, so the cats crept closer. Not because they liked us, because we had accidentally built the greatest hunting ground in the natural world. And now here is the important part. The cats that succeeded were not the friendliest ones. They were simply the ones calm enough to stay near humans without panicking. The nervous cats fled and found nothing. The tolerant cats stayed, ate well, and raised more kittens. Generation after generation, evolution quietly filtered wildcats by a single trait: the ability to put up with us. Now compare that to dogs. Dogs changed enormously. Floppy ears, curled tails, hundreds of wildly different shapes and sizes. But cats barely changed at all. Genetically, the cat in your living room is almost identical to the wild desert cat its ancestors came from. Same size, same build, same instincts, same lethal hunting kit. This is the part most people miss. We did not reshape cats to fit our world. Cats walked into our world and decided it was convenient. They kept their wild bodies, their wild minds, and their wild independence. They simply added one new skill: living beside us without getting killed. And once cats had a foothold next to us, they used us to conquer the entire planet. As humans began to trade and explore, cats came along. Not because we invited them, but because every grain store, every harbor, every ship had the same problem. Rodents. Sailors learned fast that a ship without a cat was a ship being eaten from the inside, its food spoiled and its ropes chewed through. So cats sailed wherever we sailed. They crossed oceans in the dark holds of ships, stepped off onto every new shore, and spread to almost every corner of the earth. A single, small wildcat from one dry region of the Middle East became one of the most widespread predators alive. And it managed that by letting humans do all the work of carrying it around. We thought we were bringing a useful animal with us. The cat was using our entire civilization as a delivery service. And then it got even better at controlling us. A cat does not bark, herd, or guard. In the practical sense, a A cat offers almost nothing. So how did this animal convince us to feed it for 10,000 years? It learned to push our buttons. When a cat wants something, it can produce a sound called a solicitation purr, a low purr with a high, urgent cry hidden inside it, eerily close to the sound of a human baby crying. Our brains are wired to react to that sound. We physically cannot ignore it. The cat learned, without ever understanding why, that this exact noise makes the giant apes get up and open the food. Cats meow at humans constantly, but adult cats almost never meow at one another. The meow is not cat language. It is a tool, evolved specifically to manage us. And yet, somewhere along the way, this cold arrangement became something warmer. In 2004, archaeologists digging on the island of Cyprus uncovered a grave more than 9,500 years old. Inside lay a human, buried with care, and just inches away in its own small pit, facing the same direction, lay a cat. Cats are not native to Cyprus. Someone had carried that animal across open sea by boat, thousands of years before the pyramids, before writing, long before Egypt ever worshipped cats at all. Think about what that means. 9,500 years ago, a person cared enough about a single cat to bring it across the water, and when one of them died, someone laid them to rest side by side. That is not pest control anymore. That is attachment. But unlike dogs, cats never fully surrendered to us. A dog needs its human. A lost dog is often helpless. A lost cat simply goes back to being a wild cat. Drop a house cat into the right environment, and within weeks it is hunting, surviving, and breeding, as though the last 10,000 years never happened. The wild was never bred out of them. It is still right there under the surface. When your cat pounces on a toy, stalks a dot of light, or drops a dead insect at your feet like a gift, that is not cute behavior. That is a desert predator running a hunting program older than civilization itself. This is why cats feel so different from every other animal we live with. Dogs joined us. Horses worked for us. Cows depend on us. But cats negotiated. They saw what we were building, decided it served them, and moved in on their own terms, keeping their freedom the entire time. We like to believe we adopted them. The truth may run the other way. 10,000 years ago, a wild predator looked at a human village, saw an opportunity, and chose to stay not as a servant, but as a guest who never quite agreed to the rules. And tonight, that same small predator is probably curled up somewhere in your home, half asleep, completely unbothered, having quietly conquered the most powerful species on the planet without giving up a single thing. We did not tame the cat. The cat tamed us, and now you know.